your appearance. You can expect drug and alcohol urinalysis testing while you're on supervision. Regardless of supervision level, if you are contacted to submit to urinalysis, you are required to report within 24 hours. Expect a parole officer or supervisory staff to be present and able to clearly view the urine entering the specimen container. All drug tests are performed solely to determine your compliance with the terms of supervision and not for the purpose of assessing your health or for the diagnosis, prevention, or treatment of any disease or impairment you may have.
Want to get your high school equivalency certificate but don't know where to start? Talk to your parole officer about GED classes and other education resources in your community. Whether you're required to get your high school equivalency or want to attend a few classes to prepare for GED testing, your parole officer can provide you with locations nearby. Already have your GED and considering your next step? Being a felon doesn't mean you can't get a federal Pell Grant for further study, but certain offenses may limit your eligibility. Ask your parole officer or RID case manager for help.
Texas experiences a variety of weather, ranging from hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, even the occasional earthquake. Due to these unexpected weather events, it's important that you have your parole officer's emergency and after-hour contact numbers available. Be prepared in the event of catastrophic weather. Whether your supervising officer requires it or not, provide your PO with the details of your alternate evacuation residence plan and let them know if the plan changes. During such events, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice website will list district parole office closures. We all know Texas has extreme heat temperatures that rise well above the norm. For this reason, you'll need to be prepared daily to handle heat-related conditions wherever you are. Hydrate yourself. Whether you feel thirsty or not, drink plenty of water to avoid becoming dehydrated. Educate yourself. Keep up with the latest temperature and heat index forecasts. Take action to stay cool and safe when temperatures hit 85 degrees or the heat index hits 90 degrees. Know the warning signs of heat illness and how you can stay cool. Act quickly when heat illness is suspected. Get medical attention immediately if you see any of these warning signs: cramping, rapid pulse, heavy sweating, hot red skin, dizziness, confusion, nausea, or vomiting.
These guys are preparing this K2 in bathtubs. They're mixing it in buckets and cement mixers, and by the time the end product comes out, from one to the next, it's going to be different, and you just don't know what you're going to get. So you're playing, roulette with your life.
learn a lot of basic stuff, like how to use the bathroom and how to walk.
And unfortunately, like doing this just cost her, you know, a lot.
If I wouldn't know that it would cost me my life, I would not have done that. Definitely not worth it.
Tried.
I advise anybody, if you have a loved one that is smoking K2 synthetic weed and you know about it, please, please, please snitch on them in order to save their lives. It's better to tell it on them get caught, them get help where they can quit smoking than you to look up one day and it's too late where they done smoked and there is no help. Because if you don't tell it on them one day, they will be just like my brother Cobra Lewis, either laid up in the nursing home or in the morgue somewhere or the cemetery, dead. DOA. As you arrive. I'm sorry. That's just how it works.
Need to move due to a change in your family situation or job? A transfer request may be made if you have verifiable employment, will enter a residential treatment program, or have family support that would warrant a transfer. You can't submit a transfer request if you're unable to provide a reasonable basis for the transfer, including an appropriate residence plan. It's important to speak with your parole officer before any pending changes are made. Remember, it's a violation of your supervision to move prior to obtaining permission from your parole officer.
You are required to pay fees during your supervision period. These fees may include supervision fees, the Crime Victim Fund, fines, court costs, restitution, post-secondary education reimbursement, and/or sexual assault program fund fees. All fees should be paid by money order and filled out properly. If you have questions about filling out the money order, ask for help from your parole officer or the fee clerk. All money orders are paid to the order of the TDCJ. Enter your home address and sign your name in the appropriate space along with your TDCJ number. For auditing and monitoring purposes, parole division staff cannot and will not accept cash for payments of any type of fees. The parole division is exploring other methods of electronic fee collection. Additional information will be announced when it becomes available.
If your supervising officer has provided you with written notification regarding Halloween home visits, you'll be prohibited from participating in Halloween trick-or-treating events. During this time, random compliance checks will be conducted. In order to ensure compliance with the Parole Division's mission statement of promoting public safety, we strive to maintain safe environments for all communities and children.
Your first office visit with a parole officer can be a nervous and anxious time. There's a lot of information to share with the parole officer, and your initial visit gives you an opportunity to get familiar with the parole office. This is also the time for you and the parole officer to go over your release certificate, special conditions, and the rules of release. During this first visit, your parole officer will provide a number of program referrals and information that apply to you and your supervision. The first is the new arrival orientation program referral. This required class will provide you with a starting point to learning about a wide array of community resource information and the tools you'll need to be successful while on supervision. Additionally, your parole officer may give you written instructions to attend a 4-hour substance abuse program Level 1 relapse prevention and education class. This program is designed to familiarize clients like yourself with local resources that will assist you in taking care of relapse prevention before drug use begins, and help you create a relapse prevention plan, which will be shared with your parole officer.
Are you sponsoring a client? Do you have questions on how to help a friend or family member have a better reintegration? Then join us at Sponsor Orientation, an evening for your family and friends to become familiar with the parole process in Texas. Your help and support is important to the successful integration of the client. It's our hope that you ask questions about your part of the client support system and that you leave Sponsor Orientation with a better understanding and awareness of the parole division's role and yours in the client's life.
When you hear the words human trafficking, you probably think that it's something that only happens to people in other countries. But the victims of sex and labor trafficking can and do come from anywhere, including right here in Texas. Texans, men, women, boys, and girls are forced into a horrifying form of modern-day slavery every day.
Right now in Texas, there are more than 300,000 human trafficking victims and 79,000 minors and youth victims of sex trafficking. The Office of the Attorney General tracks down and prosecutes those responsible for this atrocious crime. But we can't fight this alone. Texas needs your help.
So let's put all the eyes of Texas on the fight against human trafficking. You can help by recognizing red flags and reporting suspicious activity to the National Human Trafficking Hotline.
You have the power to save lives and put traffickers behind bars.
Someone's life is in your hands. Be the one to end human trafficking right here in the great state of Texas.
Hello, my name is Director of the Parole Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. It doesn't matter if you're recently released and reporting for the first time, if you're an out-of-state transfer, or an active reporting client. The following information about rules and conditions of release, including tools and resources, will give you the best opportunity for a successful transition into society. All of us in the Parole Division work every day to live up to our mission statement: to promote public safety and positive offender change through effective supervision, programs, and services. And it's our goal that all division offices and personnel are using our mission statement as a standard for day-to-day operations. Our hope is that you and your parole officer can establish a positive client-officer relationship, working together as a team to make your reentry into society a success.
Supervisor. Thank you.
While you're on supervision, you'll participate on a regular basis in the Texas Risk Assessment System, or TRAS. This series of questions allows agency professionals to assess and identify your individual needs and risks, creating an effective case plan that can direct you to necessary services in your community. Our goal is to reduce your risk of reoffending, increasing your chances for success.
Andre, you want to say anything about that?
The Board of Pardons and Parole in the Texas legislature has established a sort of
that video was to enlighten people that don't know about it, which they love when it's on parole. This is some of the things, these stipulations that goes on. So check it out.
Successful completion of your supervision. The first of these rules is pretty simple. Report as instructed to your supervising parole officer. Never miss a meeting. These meeting times will be scheduled outside of your work or school hours if possible. If you can't keep an appointment and have verifiable documentation, call your PO as far in advance as possible to reschedule. Obey all municipal, county, state, and federal laws. You must live at the address approved by your supervising officer, and if you need to move, you'll have to get written permission from your PO before you change residences. You'll also need written permission to leave the state for any reason. You can't own, possess, sell, or control any firearm, prohibited weapon, or illegal weapon as defined in the Texas Penal Code. This includes carrying any weapons. Avoid people or places of disreputable or harmful character. Don't enter into any agreement to act as an informer or special agent for any law enforcement agency without specific written approval from the Parole Division Director or the Director's designee. Abide by all special conditions imposed by the Parole Board. All required fees are paid at the time of report or in advance. There may be more rules and conditions that apply to you specifically, or another copy of your release certificate.
You gonna close it out?
Always gonna come up with something. Always gonna come up with something. That's why you gotta tell somebody to watch that just release. Cause ain't no telling what I might come back with next.